In today's video, I'm going to tell you guys the best starter animes for any person who wants to get into anime. We've all been there. We meet someone who has never watched anime besides Pokemon, which isn't a real anime, come on now, and you want them to give it a try. That's great, you lucky non-introvert you, but don't tell them to watch your favorite anime. That's probably going to be a bad idea. Tell them what you like is fine, of course, but everyone has different tastes. Some people want to stick to action or romance or whatever they like in their own medium, so telling them to watch your favorite anime may not apply to them, and they may force themselves to like it, which obviously you do not want to do. So from personal experience and recommendations from others, I've made a list of several animes, each projecting as a good start to anime for each specific genre. These aren't the best animes for each genre, of course, as that would be subjective, but are good for someone who needs a smooth sailing to get into anime. Alright, so here's my list. For a person who is a fan of good old action, then I would suggest them Demon Slayer. Firstly, this anime is accessible. All of the anime, that being Season 1, the movie, and Season 2, are all on Crunchyroll, the most popular streaming site, so watching this would not be a problem. Not to mention, if they really do get invested, the entire manga can be found online or physically fully completed, so they wouldn't have to wait to finish the story if they're really hooked on it. Secondly, this anime has great fight scenes. With how beautiful the animation gets for this anime, it's definitely going to put a shock on someone's face seeing this type of choreography and colors for the first time. Finally, the story is pretty down to earth. What I mean here is the characterizations and plot in general is quite simple. I think almost anyone can get the gist of the story without being confused at any point and just overall have a fun time watching it. For a person who is a fan of comedy or romance, then I suggest Kaguya-sama Love is War. Yes, this anime covers both aspects of romance and comedy extremely well. Firstly, this anime is genuinely funny. There is some fantastic writing put into these episodes, whether that be the setups of the jokes or actual development in the story. The comedy is great, mostly taking place in one area for the most part, and having various characters have some awesome moments. All these characters are goofy in their own respective ways and together just make for some great bits. As well, there are multiple romantic lines that the viewer can get invested in, which other animes don't really take advantage of, which is pretty surprising. The third season just recently came out, along with a movie being released sometime in the next few years. There are some high moments for sure that will certainly blow you away for how cute these characters can be. For a person who is a fan of horror or mystery, then I'd suggest Erased. I haven't gotten around to watching this anime as a matter of fact, but I definitely want to check it out at some point. From what I've seen, this anime has a great premise as well as great characters back that up. The synopsis of the anime goes as follows. Satoru Fujinuma lives with a strange condition only he was able to experience. Revival, a strange phenomenon where one is transferred back to the moment right before something life-threatening occurs. This continues to happen until the cause of the threat is erased. It is as if somebody is forcing Satoru to stop it from happening. I don't know about you guys, that sounds just sick already, and I can only imagine how it expands from there. Not to mention the series is only 12 episodes, so it would be a rather quick binge. For a person who's a fan of sci-fi, then I'd suggest Dr. Stone. Here's another anime I haven't gone around seeing as well, but again, I've only heard great things about this anime. The synopsis goes as followed. Several thousand years after a mysterious phenomenon that turns all of humanity to stone, the extraordinarily intelligent, science-driven boy Senku Ishigami awakens. Facing a world of stone and total collapse of civilization, Senku makes up his mind to use science to rebuild the world. Depicting 2 million years of scientific history from the Stone Age to present day, the unprecedented crafting adventure story is about to begin. Again, this concept seems really interesting even to me, who's seen a decent amount of anime to this point. This anime currently has 2 seasons out, with a mini-movie and a new season in the works. I haven't heard anything negative about this anime either, so it's probably worth checking out. For a person who is a fan of a more in-depth and chaotic story, then I'd suggest Re:Zero Starting Life in Another World. I think Re:Zero here is definitely going to be the most controversial take on this list, but I think it fits this genre quite well. This anime starts at a large scale, bringing in multiple different characters that the viewer will learn about. This is the only anime on this list that is part of the isekai genre, which is a very popular genre in the manga and anime community, so it's a good way to kind of get into it. But this anime has some of the best betrayals and character growths that there is to offer. The timing for each arc is written so beautifully and sparingly. This series can be gruesome at times, so be warned, but does everything so well. Not to mention, it's one of the best animes taking on the isekai genre, as I already mentioned. Of course, I won't get into spoiler territory, but trust me when I say this anime covers a lot of themes and characters that certainly is going to please a select people. Alright, so that'll do it for the best starter animes. If you don't have a genre that entices you, then don't be afraid to check out one of these shows, as they are all worth checking out. All of these animes can be found on Crunchyroll, which, as I'm making this, is free to watch with ads on the website. Something I also want to mention is don't be afraid to watch animes that are dubbed. I don't know why, but there's this huge like stigma around dubbed anime in the anime community for some reason. But there is nothing wrong with dubs. Just sometimes the studio behind the dubbing gets a little fun with the lines, or the dub voices aren't set in stone for their characters for the most part. But truthfully, there is nothing wrong with dubs. In fact, all of these animes have dubs on Crunchyroll except for Erase, but that can be found on somewhere else. But seriously, watch whatever makes you comfortable. There is nothing wrong with dubs. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. Other than that, let me know what animes you guys would suggest for people for these genres and other genres I didn't mention, because these are kind of more broad and people can kind of relate to them more. It'll certainly be interesting to see what you guys think. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. See ya.